All right. What's poppin', people? It's Dante. I've got the GoPro Mini on the GoPro chest mount. Riding electric expedition cargo bike, electric bike. Recording audio with the DJI microphone. Honestly, I don't know the name of this thing. It's like that fancy lav mic thingy. It's pretty nice, I guess. Let's test it out. And I'm filming at 1080p, 30 FPS with the super view on the GoPro Mini. Yeah, I actually picked up the actual GoPro chest mount because I noticed that the snap mount system I was using, it's quite, I don't know, it's not as stable. This one seems to be much more secure on the chest with the straps. So yeah, I just wanted to test out this new way of making media, making podcast, audio, sort of video with the POV on the bike and try to record some audio and just see how this works out. I have no idea how it will sound, so this will be a good test. And yeah, we're starting here in Philadelphia. Look at all these people in traffic. See, this is like what I don't ever want to have to deal with in life is traffic. Biking is a great solution. You can be free with the wind, and yeah, I don't know, I just don't like being stuck in a car, and I definitely don't like being stuck in traffic. Right now I'm using the throttle on the right-hand side of this bike, so I'm not even pedaling, I'm just throttling. And it gets up to 20 miles per hour at the maximum setting. So yeah, 20 miles per hour on a bike is pretty damn good, I'd say. Here I'm along the Schuylkill River. It's quite beautiful. And then we got 30th Street Station over there. Train station. I sometimes take that train to New York if I ever... I mean, really, the only time I ever go to New York, funny enough, is to just go to the camera store. Like, I picked up my Ricos at B&H. I actually carried the Ricoh GR3 with me when I'm on the bike, so I can make pictures, just snapshot of whatever is in front of me. Yeah, it's a nice solution. Just have it in the zipper pocket, pull it out, make pictures. Such a nice day. It's like 73 Fahrenheit, 75, something like that. And it's, what's today? October 26th, 2023. It's 4 p.m., 4:08 p.m. Okay, seems like I can go. So yeah, let's hit the trail now. The Schuylkill River Trail is just down here. This is my favorite place to get away from the city. You can see the map here, actually. Let's see. So firstly, check out the river. Beautiful view. There's the 30th Street Station. And then, so I'm currently here, Philadelphia Art Museum. They're actually going to extend the trail here, which is going to be incredible to go that way along the boardwalk. But so yeah, you can, the furthest I've ever gone, wow, so you can go all the way to Pottsville. So where's the furthest that I've gone? Collegeville, I've gone up here, Phoenixville. I'd say somewhere around here is the furthest I've gone from the city. But today I'm gonna ride to the Wissahickon, which is somewhere over here. And you can see the Wissahickon Creek. Okay, so yeah, I'll get on the river right there. The Wissahickon Creek. That's actually where I spent a lot of my childhood, in the Wissahickon Creek. I grew up in that area. yeah, it's nice to see the map actually. Train over here. And so yeah, now we're heading onto the trail. The Schuylkill Banks. It's our little paradise away from the hustle and bustle. The one thing I need from my bike is a bell. I don't really like having to say on your left if I'm passing someone, but we'll see. It's much more convenient to just have a bell. I have my phone on the mount here, and then this LED display shows you the speed you're going at, 21 miles per hour. I'm just using the pedal assist, so I'm basically pedaling with ease, barely have to do any work. And the great thing about this bicycle is that it's a step-through bike, so my posture is really nice, where I can sit up straight on the bike. And yeah, I think the problem with these kind of bikes, like these people in front of me, are they're hunched, kind of leaning forward, and I don't think that's too great. So yeah, it's kind of nice to have a step-through system, personally. I'm all about posture. That's like the only downside of biking. The good thing is I could stand if I really want to at some point and just throttle. It's nice having these mirrors too, so I can see behind me easily, just looking at the mirrors and know if anyone's coming up on me, especially if I'm riding on a road with cars. It seems to be wise to have these for biking in the city. There's a skate park up ahead on the right-hand side, Paynes Park. It's extremely beautiful. And yeah, it's like a multi-million-dollar skate park. I haven't skated here in a while. Today would definitely have been a good day too. But yeah, I prefer biking. Such a nice skate park. Look, it's like empty. On a day like this, I don't know why. Such a great skate park. Art museums up there. Yeah, I was joking with my friend. I was like, I should just go outside of the art museum with a projector and just project my photos onto it. Just go rogue style. I am the art museum. Like, honestly, I feel like the gallery for photography seems to be kind of dead to me. When I was in New York, I visited a few of the shows, and honestly, I couldn't tell you what's going on in these galleries. I don't know what kind of work they're presenting. It's all this conceptual sort of nonsense. I realized, like, maybe Dante is just really dumb and just doesn't get it. Like, but I really don't get the kind of photos they show in galleries. So it seems like whoever's running the show doesn't know what to show, because it's not good. It's frustrating because, you know, I think it's nice to view work in public in a physical setting, but these sort of pretentious galleries and stuff, yeah, it doesn't seem, that's not where street photography belongs. So it's like, how can we present work in a new way has been on my mind, and I think the slideshow is quite interesting. And perhaps even projected slideshows could be a good solution. But I do believe in this digital future. It's the digital world, the brave new world for photography. And yeah, maybe having your own website, virtual gallery, slideshows, hyperlinks. There's new ways to share work that's away from these sort of physical spaces that have perhaps more value to provide and more accessibility for all, where you can simply share a link to a YouTube video and have that be the show. I mean, really, it's simple enough where your entire archive can exist in a slideshow format indefinitely. And I think that YouTube is a great place to just archive anything. My issue is when I uploaded my archive of my color photos, I had some censorship flags for some of my photos. So I had to take it down. So it's just going to be on my own website, I guess. That's the only issue, is censorship. So we have to make our own websites, and all these sort of social media platforms maybe break free from. Maybe making multiple websites. For an entire photo project, you can make a dedicated website. Seems like websites are the future. I really do believe in it. This social media stuff won't stay around forever. And the gallery, I mean, what, you get to see the work for a few days or a few weeks, and then it's on to the next. So, I don't know. It's not really a big concern. I'm much more interested in production, just making media, making photos, making videos, doing my own thing. Whatever I wind up doing with the work, it's not that big of a concern for me. I mostly just like to produce more photos and just keep everything open on my own website. So I'll play with it and see what I can do. I still have so many photos to go through from this year photographing with my new black and white process. I've got thousands of them in my iPad. It seems like I have like over 100,000 photos or something from this year. Been photographing a lot. And you know, the real problem is the culling of the photos, where I actually think culling photos, that's where it becomes boring and tedious and not enjoyable, right? It's much more enjoyable to go out and to photograph and to make the work, but to have to sit around and sift through photos, it's a pain. It's not that enjoyable. We need some sort of artificial intelligence assisting photo program to just cull through the work for you, because that seems like a good innovation. There needs to be some sort of AI photo culling service. You know, make an app for that. That would be good. Really, that would help me a lot, because I photograph too much for my own good. It's like the only problem is going through the photos. It feels so nice today. People are rowing on the river. I think there was a boat race last week. Now we just have this open road to ride upon. This trail extends, I believe it's like 100 miles from Center City, Philadelphia. I don't know exactly. I mean, you saw the map, it's huge. So you can really travel far just by biking. And I actually remember this trail being my favorite place to explore growing up because of the endless trail to sort of traverse upon, where, you know, I was limited to my own neighborhood, my own sort of street that I grew up on. And then when I discovered the bike trail, I discovered this sort of endless place to explore. And perhaps throughout my childhood of exploring the Wissahickon Creek and the woods, building forts, making teepees, sharpening sticks and pretending like I was on the hunt with spears, making fishing rods, making bridges with rocks across the creek, and then biking. Yeah, these things have opened me up to sort of this world of exploration. And I believe that I have an explorer spirit at heart, where now with photography in combination with my adventuring, I can find this sort of excuse to keep going, and there's always more. There's always more to see, there's always more to explore, and I feel as though you could live until you're 120 years old and live a long life and still not see this entire planet. And that sort of thing, that kind of thought, yeah, that motivates me. That inspires me to just keep going and to keep seeking more and to conquer more and to seek new challenges physically through walking, through biking, through whatever I'm doing. The world is just so big, and we're just kind of going along with whatever in the city, it seems. You know, the city life, while I do love walking and being a pedestrian and being a bystander and doing my street photography in the city, it doesn't seem that modernity is sort of designed to keep humans thriving. I was thinking of the hamster wheel today. You know, I had lunch with my uncle. He works in one of the offices, and he was like, I'm like stuck in this hamster wheel. He was complaining about it. And I mean, it's the reality of what happens when you live in a city or work in a city and actually exist in an office from 9 to 5. You wind up trading your time and your physiology, your health, both physically and mentally, chasing a dollar. Where the rat race, yeah, maybe a better analogy is the hamster wheel, where you're kind of just doing the same motion every day. Yeah, it's not a great place to be. I don't want to get on the hamster wheel. Even considering these sort of treadmills that are in gyms or these sort of like stationary bikes. Why would you ever want to ride a stationary bike when there's an endless trail to explore in Philadelphia? You know, those like treadmills, and you know, we love hamster wheels, it seems, in America, especially in these cities, in these modern office buildings and gyms that we have. We love just running in place. You know, I like to say this joke, it's like, is anything, or just like this funny thought that just sounds so ridiculous, but it's like, is anything really happening in cities? I feel as though we've come to this point of technology taking over. It's like, what are we doing really? We're just operating computers and sending data back and forth and like sending emails. Like what the, like an email, like that's like the job is for me to send an email back and forth. It's like, I'm very disagreeable and I can't get myself to succumb. I can't get myself to succumb to this. You know, the king should be stronger than the slave. Let's see, I can check how long I've been biking. 5.2 miles. Okay, so 19 minutes. I guess I stopped for a bit. It really only takes 15 minutes to get up to this point where the East Falls Bridge is, which is 5 miles. Yeah, I think just treating biking as a mode of exploring and having fun is a good thought. Like, don't treat biking as exercise. I think anything you are doing while sitting down shouldn't be seen as exercise. Exercise is more about, you know, you can get a pump in your legs on a bike, but I find that exercise has to be something where you're not sitting. Like this for me is leisure. I mean, obviously the bike's electric, but even if it wasn't, I would still just consider it that way, where it's merely just for leisure and exploring. I feel as though cardio is a scam. I think a lot of shit's a scam. I feel like a lot of things are a scam. But cardio is a definite scam. Counting calories is a scam. The idea of weight loss is a scam. You know, if you're considering losing weight, I don't think you're thinking the right way. It should be losing fat. The fat tissue on your body is what you want to remove. And so when you consider it that way, it'll shape the way that you go about your fitness journey. I think counting calories, it just sets you up on that hamster wheel, right? It's kind of the same deal where, yeah, you calories in, calories out, you eat to I saw this one guy with a shirt. It said, I run to eat. It was like on the back of his shirt, it said, I run to eat. So essentially that just means he goes for his run and then he goes and eats a yummy cheeseburger after. It's like you're not gonna have any results if you're running so that you can go and eat. Like that's obviously not going to work. So to consider fasting, reevaluating what foods you eat, and actually putting yourself in a position of change and not being on the hamster wheel and making radical changes is the only option. I think the food pyramid is a scam. A lot of the food groups like rice and pasta, and noodles, all these things are not good for us. These carbohydrates, sugar, you know, just eliminate all of the nonsense. Like, I don't know, it's like if you're a grown man drinking, you know, Coca-Cola and eating yummy sugary snacks throughout the day, there's something wrong. You allowed your body to be hijacked. And I think that's the problem with these foods and snacks that they sell in the grocery store, is they literally hijack your mind and your body, and everybody becomes addicted. It's a hamster wheel. Everything's a fucking scam hamster wheel. So to to just see through the bullshit requires a bit of courage, maybe. I think that courage is so important in life, where a lot of the times I've made my best photographs I perhaps exuded maximum courage possible. Whether it was the place that I traveled to or the situation I was in, how close I was, you know, I was never one to sit around and read the adventure books. I kind of just want to go out and live them. And, you know, I grew up playing video games, and, you know, the problem with video games is you wind up living this sort of, oh, so we're going through the Wissahickon now, this is the Wissahickon Creek. So this is where it gets interesting, kind of like in the woods and stuff. But yeah, the problem with video games is you wind up playing as like these hero characters. But really, to treat yourself as a hero character and to treat life like the ultimate video game, that seems to be a much more fun approach. And even considering street photography this way, right, where you go out and you use your camera as the sort of POV, you know, like you're in that first-person video game in real life, interacting with new people, treating others like NPCs. You know, it may sound unethical, but I think you got to go beyond these sort of basic morals and ethics that they preach nowadays. I think a lot of the things that they say is wrong is right, and what's right is wrong. Was that 1984 George Orwell status? Yeah, it seems to be wise to maybe create your own ethics and morals for things, especially in street photography and a genre of photography that is quite unethical in nature, where we're merely making pictures candidly without others' permission. And so to impose your ethics on others and to impose your way of doing things as my way or the highway is a silly thing, where there are no rules, there are no limits, and you should really reevaluate like all the preconceived notions that you have about what street photography really is, where street photography becomes an ethos. It's a way of doing things, and it's a way of exploring and seeing the world through the medium of photography, where everything and anything becomes photographable, and we uplift mundane moments, creating abstractions out of these things that we see in the world. And yeah, to just go beyond these sort of basic documentary, sort of photojournalistic approach to photography is probably the ethos of street photography, where we create artistic photographs. And yeah, I actually believe that through the use of black and white, we're abstracting reality through the removal of color, and perhaps considering aesthetics and the sort of ideal aesthetics. Yeah, it seems that black and white is a much more beautiful aesthetic, and the goal being to create beautiful works of art. Yeah, it seems to be wise to try black and white out. And not only does black and white simplify the process for me, where I don't have to process any files when I get the results back on my iPad. But I believe that black and white opens up more possibilities for potential photographs. So, you know, even if it's not a sunny day, it's not the golden hour, the light isn't good, you know, the color isn't interesting, it's not a problem. You know, I can photograph endlessly in black and white throughout all of the different seasons, where when I would photograph using color, I would purposely go out during certain times of the day, because I knew through years of experience that certain conditions I've realized over years of photographing using color that certain times of the day and certain conditions were way more aesthetically beautiful in color. And so by switching back to black and white and going back to the basics, I'm able to sort of retrain my eye to see everything as potential photographs, where I'm no longer limited. And I think to be limitless puts you in this state of bliss where you slow down in the Zen-like meditative process of photographing everything and anything and finding the intricate complexities in all of the things around you, where the God is in the details. And actually to consider creating your own world through the medium of photography, where it's the world of Dante, right? Welcome to my world. And your perspective matters, right? Everyone has their own unique voice and their own unique perspective on life itself, no matter where you are in the world. And I actually think to find endless potential in whatever place in the world that you're in, yeah, it's probably wise, where, yeah, switching to black and white allows this sort of play with the photography, where anywhere you are can become aesthetically beautiful. And so to sort of return to this sort of state of play and the spirit of play from a childlike perspective, it's wise, really. To go back to the naive state where you're optimistic and positive, and to sort of have this sort of, you know, lust for life, you will find joy in your photography. And I think everybody wants to achieve that. So I'm looking forward to becoming a happier photographer, a more positive photographer, a more positive person, a more positive artist, maybe it's more wise to consider ourselves artists going forward with the way that we create media and images, because photography is maybe limiting. And I believe that the photos that we create, the images and media and videos and everything that we create through our iPad, whether it's a drawing, whether it's a remixed photo, or even the videos and writing that we create, these can become works of art, where an idea is a work of art. And I think in order to innovate, we must go beyond photography and to create a new ideal, a new aesthetic, a new approach. And I think to forever change and to embrace the dynamics and to embrace chaos and to not be complacent is required. This is something that we should do in order to sort of push forward. Horseback. It's very bumpy here. Trying to maneuver these rocks. But yeah, so basically to never be complacent and to always sort of switch your process up, to always try new things and to try new approaches is a wise thing. Where I basically stuck to the same camera, same lens for 7-10 years, which was a good way to learn. And perhaps I could consider myself a master at this point, but actually to consider yourself an amateur is a much more wise mode of operating, where you can always learn, you can always grow. You know, I never want to be a master of photography, ever. I want to forever be a big kid with a camera, exploring as an amateur. That's where I want to be. Hopefully that'll allow me to photograph endlessly, as new pictures are the goal. And to keep making pictures is the goal. Perhaps when you stop photographing, that's a metaphorical death of the artist. And so considering the photos as your sort of lifeline and a stream of becoming, where I actually love to look at my photos in consecutive order, from the first photo I made to the most recent photo I made, and to observe them this way, rather than playing with them and sequencing them. You know, I think that we need to just look at them as a stream. And, you know, I think we need to separate ourselves from the work itself, actually. So to remove yourself from the process is a good thing. And to sort of evaluate the work and to find which work is more successful than others, perhaps after a year of photographing. But I appreciate looking through my photos each day. You know, like after I ride my bike today, I'll look through the photos I made today, make some selections, publish them, upload them, back them up. But I'm not selecting, you know, the quote-unquote keeper photos. And I still think that we need to go beyond these ideas of what makes a good or bad photograph, because that too is a very limiting thing. You know, there's no such thing as good or bad photos. How about that? There's only new photos. And to create in a flow state, and to remain in a state of production rather than consumption, and to photograph with an autotelic approach, where you expect no external validation or praise, and you merely make photos to make photos. You know, I make photos because I genuinely just love it, I'm passionate about it, and it gives me this mode of living that's my own, where I can find endless beauty in the mundane, no matter what situation I'm in. No matter if I walk the same lane every single day, I will always find something new to see, and it'll give me something to say. Through the medium of photography, I found my voice, and I hope to share my joy and passion for it with anybody and everybody. And so the medium of photography, I believe, is a superpower, and I believe that we must wield this power for good, to uplift humanity, and to champion mankind. What a beautiful beautiful place to ride a bike on a fall day. The only issue is there's no sun here. But the color of the trees and the leaves, I mean, this is something else. It's like I'm in a magical wonderland. So beautiful. Well, I hope this audio worked out. It'll be a good test to see how it sounds. Maybe I'll do more of these. Kill two birds with one stone. You know, I think that's what's awesome about making media. It's like I'm doing a POV, audio, and I'll even make photos, right? I got the Ricoh here in my hand. Yeah, I think the idea of killing two birds with one stone, killing 10 birds with one stone, killing 1,000 birds with one stone, yeah, it's wise. And I actually think that the POV is the future of media, where you put someone else in your shoes and allow the viewer to experience and perhaps yourself relive whatever memory that you create. I think that's kind of a good idea with this sort of media production thing is, you know, you're just creating these memories for yourself. To look back at one day. I'll stop here at the inn. Check out the creek here. I'm gonna start coming back here more and explore. Beautiful. You can hike over there up in the trees. What I used to do is I used to get rocks and make bridges to go across the creek when I was a kid. All right, let's ride back.